Bay Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins, our Tuesday, and yeah, it's looking more and more like it is going to get cold. Not just for here in Tampa, but in Florida, but especially obviously up north, but most of the country is actually going to be really chilly coming up over the next 4 to 5 days, including the Christmas holiday. And it's going to be especially the northern central plains eastward. So big time Arctic air is pushing southward, so let's talk about it. I'm going to start just kind of on the national map right now, so you can just see where the system's coming from. And obviously you can see the current temperatures here. It is cold. Let's get a bigger picture so you can see here. Yeah, look at this current air temps, okay? 19 below in Minot, North Dakota right now. There you go. It is cold. That's the actual air temp. 1 below in Minneapolis. You can see the front's pushing towards Chicago, where right now we've got temperatures right around 30 degrees. So balmy weather there, even though it's below freezing. But I tell you what, it's going to get really cold, and wind chills are just going to be off the hook. 7 below in Billings. Right now, Key West, obviously one of the warmest spots in the country. Tampa at 64. We're looking pretty good. But the cold air is coming, and it's diving first across the southern plains. It'll come down here, and then it's going to shoot off towards the east. Even down in the Texas and along the border, man, I'll tell you, it's cold there now, and they've got issues with those people down there. It's going to get even colder, and they're going to have some big-time issues tomorrow night and Thursday night as well. So here it is. Here's the cold air plunging down, and watch what happens Wednesday into Thursday. That's Friday morning. So you see, first it comes down to the south, and then it kind of pushes a little bit more off towards the east. So believe it or not, we're going to get really cold here. We could have actually gotten even colder if this did more something like this, right? But this kind of turn that it does here actually keeps a little bit of that colder air up to our north. That's not the case down in the Texas, as I was mentioned. They're going to get some really cold air, and you can see all the way down here along the border too. Extremely cold air. Basically, the freezing line is kind of right in here, somewhere in there. So they're getting some very cold air. Now, what's going to happen is, watch this as we go through Friday into Saturday morning. And look how it kind of shifts all the cold from the northern plains all the way to New England. The East Coast, the Mid-Atlantic, very cold air. It's pushing down into the peninsula of Florida as well. Saturday morning, we will wake up to freezing temperatures. Friday morning, no. Saturday morning, we'll start with the really cold air. Let's go out to Sunday morning. I think that will actually be the coldest for the Tampa area. That's Christmas morning. But look at all of this really cold air coming down across the Great Lakes. Oh, the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. So if you've got travel plans up there, I tell you what, obviously bring lots of jackets, but you may not be able to get there, and I'll show you that coming up. This is Monday morning. Look, we're still cold. All right, still cold on Monday morning. Still seeing freezing temperatures around the area. Saturday morning, Sunday morning, Monday morning. Tuesday, I think we'll be warming things up. Let's go out to Tuesday. It's still going to be very, very chilly. Could be some spots below freezing in our northern counties on Tuesday morning. But then gradually, we're kind of warming things up as we get going into the week. Now, let's talk winds. So this is a strong system pushing over top of us. And what's going to happen is the wind's really picking up. We're going to have a big area of high pressure, real strong one sitting out here. You're going to get a low develop right in here. And the pressure gradient is just going to throw the cold air down. You see all these winds coming in like that? So that's why I'm getting even more and more confident that we can get this pushed all the way down here, just because there's going to be a low sitting here, a high sitting here, and the pressure gradient in the middle is coming down like that. And it's going to be a big time high sitting here. All right, that's really strong, plus a really strong low pressure. So you get a good gradient right here in the middle, okay? So that was Thursday. Look at this. Friday, if you have travel plans, that's the worst day to head towards Chicago, Milwaukee. The National Weather Service out of Milwaukee put out a forecast saying basically sustained winds in the 40s with gusts in the 50s all through Friday night, and several hours of Saturday morning. So 24-hour period of those high winds, and obviously it's going to get in there. What I'm showing you here are wind gusts from the GFS model. So we'll see. Some of these numbers are actually a little bit lower. Gusts will be in the 50s, especially in the Great Lakes, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, and even Cleveland. I think we'll end up seeing some gusts in that area, at least in the 40s and 50s. So that's Friday morning through Friday night. See, the wind's not going anywhere, right? Look at all those gusts. It does shift a little bit towards the east. Pittsburgh, Syracuse getting very windy. These are gusts. Look at the 51 mile per hour gusts forecast for Cleveland. That would be Friday night. And then it does start to weaken a little bit Saturday afternoon. Now look, if you're flying Saturday anywhere up into the Northeast, it's a bumpy ride. Just know that, right? The weather on Friday is going to cause issues here, which is basically going to cause a lot of issues elsewhere. So plan ahead. Look, if you can get in, let me back this up. If you can get in there Thursday to the Midwest or the Northeast, I'd do it. If you're planning on going Friday and you can make those travel plans and adjust them to go on Thursday, I'd do it, and I would do it today. It's going to fill up. People are already making changes to get ahead of this thing so you can get there for Christmas. This is Friday. Let's go into Saturdays. I showed you things are getting better. That's Christmas morning, and you can see the winds really coming down. Still some breezes up around the lakes, but things really calming down. So things will look a whole lot better. Now, look at these feels like temperatures. Minus 51 in Billings, Montana. You see the blues here? Those are areas where you combine the wind with the cold air, and it's going to feel like 51 below zero. 20 below in Minneapolis, 26 in Chicago. That's Thursday morning, though. Now watch what happens as we go through Friday morning. Wind chills in Chicago, 20 below. 24, St. Louis. 26 below, Topeka. 29 below in Lincoln, Nebraska. Look at the Dakotas. 40, 50 mile, 50, what am I talking about? 40, 50 degree below zero wind chills, right? Very cold air. That's dangerous air if you get stuck out. I mean, it is not good. I mean, obviously, look at Tampa. We're not looking bad. This is Saturday morning. Look at these wind chills in the 30s below. Wisconsin, Minnesota, still the Dakotas, parts of Iowa as well, even Syracuse and Cleveland. Look at that. Again, these are wind chills. And then as we get into Christmas morning, still some wind coming down. And look, it's going to be cold there regardless. So you just need a little breeze, and it's going to make some really cold wind chills there. But a little wind chill in Tampa, Christmas morning. 27 degrees. In fact, some areas just north of Tampa will be 27 degrees for an air temperature, with wind chills even colder than that. I'll get on Tampa here in just a little bit. This is Monday morning. Things are improving. Tuesday as well. And then gradually you'll see things really warm up as far as wind chills go. And even temperatures as we get into next week. All right, let's go to Thursday. So this is the main, I'll back it up for you here. Let's back it up a little bit. Here's the system Wednesday morning. Okay, taking shape across the northern plains. Look at the snow from Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin. Some heavy snow is possible again. They just got hammered here, especially in the UP, just recently, and they're going to get another good one. And then here it comes Wednesday night into Thursday morning, getting towards Milwaukee and Chicago during the afternoon on Thursday. So there will be some travel issues with that, but still things would look better. And then here's the key. This is Thursday night, and you see this low developing right here near Chicago. There's a great big high pressure sitting out here, okay? The difference between those two is what's causing that. Let me go ahead. I want to take you over to some models here for a minute, see if I can do that. Might not be able to do that for you here. We got it? No, we don't have it. Don't have it. All right. Well, bottom line is, what's happening is this high pressure system, let me get back to this, is going to be about, well, it depends what the model is saying. This thing right in here is about 1,050, 1,060 millibars. All right, that is huge. That is straw. I can't even draw it. But the difference between this high and this low, ordinarily, with the low cranking up like this, you're going to get a lot of wind around it, right? You're going to get a lot of wind. But because this high is so strong and that low is so deep, you see all those lines? All those lines together right there are the mean sea level pressure lines, those isobars. When you see those really tight, you get a lot of wind. And because it's going just like this, look where it's coming. Right down to Tampa. And that's why I say I really think we've got a good shot at getting some really cold air here. as we get into Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And likely many areas will see freezing, especially Tampa northward. So if you've got plants, all that kind of stuff, keep that in mind because that will be the case. Here we go. Saturday, things are clearing out. You can see the snow is clearing out as well, too. Of course, with the wind on Saturday and even on Sunday, you're going to have lake effect all in these areas. Okay, certainly going to have that. And then as you get into Sunday, Christmas Day does start to come down a little bit. But look what it's going to do. I mean, some folks are going to get a lot of snow, especially in the Great Lakes area. You get further south in there, and you're not going to get as much snow, but that's a good portion of the northern U.S. has a chance of having a white Christmas. Now, look, if it depends on where you're watching. If you see these lines down here, check your local weather teams for this because this is just the GFS model. There's not a whole lot of faith in all of this that's down here, but mountains, North Carolina, Tennessee, even North Georgia, you actually see a little bit of snow. Single-digit temps for lows in Asheville, for instance, right? It's going to be cold. All right, so let's talk Tampa now. All right, so here are our high temperature forecasts. This is just the GFS model, basically. Trying to get to 70 today and tomorrow. Tomorrow has a better chance of it. Today we've got clouds and showers coming through. Close to it on Thursday. Friday, the temperatures are actually falling through the day. But look at Saturday and Sunday. I mean, we'd be lucky to get to 50 on Christmas. And that number will probably come down. And then you see us starting to climb back up as we get into the middle of next week. Now let's talk lows. So here's where the bottom drops out, right? Kind of mild, to be honest with you, as we have a little bit more of a southeast wind and then a south wind out ahead of the front. So that keeps us warm in the mornings. But by Saturday morning, it is cold. Now these numbers are for Tampa. Okay, now Tampa's closer to the water. So you get north and especially east, well, obviously north, but even east of Tampa, and these numbers are going to be lower. So that's why, Northwest Hillsborough, West Chase, Carrollwood, Lutz, the Nonasassa, plan for freezing temperatures Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and Monday morning. All right, it's obviously Pasco, Hernando, and Citrus, if you're not right on the water, and even some areas in Citrus and Hernando on the water will be close to freezing as well, too. So protect those plants, do all that kind of stuff. Now, here are the numbers now for Tampa. And these may change just a little bit, but this looks pretty good to me, pretty ballpark. You can see the freezing line is going to be somewhere right in here. Something like that. All right, something like that. So all of that area is below freezing. And the devil's going to be in the details when we get into Saturday morning, but man, oh man, is it going to be cold. Strawberry growers, yeah, you're pumping water. You're probably pumping water all weekend long, by the way, Saturday morning. Or Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. Pumping water for Christmas this year to keep the crop going. This is Sunday morning, Christmas morning. This, to me, I think will be the coldest of the stretch for us. So most areas are at or just below freezing. When you get Pinellas County, I mean, yeah, the beaches, you'll stay a little bit warmer, especially down in the South St. Pete, downtown St. Pete, and of course the beaches. But once you get up to Tarpon Springs is going to see freezing temperatures. You're going to have to watch that. It's going to be very, very close Sunday morning. And then obviously, I mean, look, we're talking 20s for Land Lakes, for Lutz, for Dade City, certainly, Brooksville, Inverness, Crystal River, even Crystal River at 26 degrees Christmas morning. So that's the coldest air coming through. Monday morning, yeah, a little bit warmer. Yeah, certainly a little bit warmer. In fact, upper 30s to near 40 right at the coast. But still like upper 30s even on Monday morning, all the way down to Venice and Northport. Freezing temperatures will be up in the Pasco, Hernando, Citrus, and northern Polk County will be very close. Orlando is going to get freezing temperatures all weekend long as well, too. So that's where we're looking at now. As far as coldest Christmases on record, this is at least for morning lows. We're looking at 33. That was in 1995, so we'll be close to top 5. But this is going to be some of the coldest that we've seen. For reference, we had 77 degrees last year. We'll be lucky to get to 50 for a high temperature this year. All right, so definitely on the flip-flop. You go back to 19, it was at 89? Oh, what was it? It's on my Facebook page. Check out Bobby Deskins weather on my Facebook page. I plotted the temperature. I think it was 33 for a high in 1989. The year before, it was 83. It was 83. 1983, I think it was 33 for a high. The year before, 20 was our low that morning. You can see that. That's the coldest Christmas ever. So we could tie for the 5th coldest Christmas ever in Tampa. this Christmas morning when you wake up. So very, very cold weather. All right, so here's what you want to do. Protect those plants. Sheets, blankets, newspapers. You can even put cardboard boxes over them. You want to cover them up, right? Plastic, not the best thing because plastic gets cold. Now, we will warm up. We'll be in the upper 40s on Saturday. We'll be in the upper 40s to near 50 on Sunday. But you do want to get those covers off once the temperature comes up, because sometimes it can get a little warm under there with the sunshine. So we'll have to watch that. Now, look, bring all animals indoors. Be smart about it, right? You can't bring the cattle indoors. But think about them, man, right? They're out there. It is cold. Potted plants, yeah, definitely want to bring them inside. Okay, now, Pasco, Hernando, Citrus County, especially Christmas morning, if you've got exposed pipes, there's going to be some mid-20s for quite some time. So there will be some issues, I think, with some frozen pipes, especially inland Hernando and inland Citrus County. So please keep that in mind. Now, something kind of minor here. Let me back up just a little bit. The tire pressure sensor in your car. If you're going anywhere Saturday, or especially Sunday, maybe even Monday when you head back to work if you are, you might end up seeing that light come on. And that's because of the cold air and how it affects the pressure in your tires. So cold air doesn't bounce around as much. Those molecules, they're not bouncing around as much. The heat that you see in warm air is actually because the molecules are bouncing around and bouncing off each other. They actually generate heat. So there's higher pressure when it's warmer out. And your tires right now, relatively warm. The pressures are pretty even, right? Close to what they should be. But when you lower those temperatures, you're going to have less pressure inside those tires. And if you're right around that area where, say you need like 34 PSI in your tire, if you're like 35, 34, dropping 10 degrees is going to go 1 to 2 PSI. So you go 20, 30 degrees, which we're going to see, you're going to be down to about 28, 29 PSI, and that's going to cause your light to go on. So that's certainly something I think a lot of us will be dealing with. Not a big deal, just put some more air in it. And last but not least, our friends in South Florida will have an iguana falling alert. Cold, stunned iguanas are likely for the Miami area, South Florida. Looks like now, I'm thinking they'll get down to about 40 to 42 degrees or so. Anything under 50, they get really sluggish. Anything around 40 degrees or below, they start falling out of the trees. Now, they won't die for the most part, but they're cold-blooded, so they need the heat, right? And once it gets really cold, they're done. They just they get cold stunned and they just hang out. They don't do anything. They can't do anything. Their metabolism slows a great bit. So get ready for that. That's going to happen Saturday. That's going to happen Sunday and Monday as well, too. Monday will be a little bit warmer down there, so things will start to get back to normal by the time we get to next week. So that's it, guys. Don't forget all my platforms here. You can follow me. Obviously, if you're watching on 10 Tampa Bay, I've got my Bobby Deskins Weather YouTube page, Bobby Deskins Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And stay warm out there. Be careful. Cold weather shelters will likely come up for Friday night. If you are in a place where you can't get enough heat, that type of thing, you know that you're not going to be able to do that. You want to make plans so that you've got a place to go for Friday night and honestly, really, all through the weekend, because these temperatures are going to be in the 20s and low 30s all the way through the upcoming weekend. Please be careful with space heaters. It's just something that we see every time we get this. I know, I just have a feeling we're going to see it now. It's just what we do, right? So please be careful. The Christmas tree, you've got the presents there, you got things that are really flammable, and you want to make sure you give that heater some space, okay? If you are using an indoor heater, that type of thing. All right, guys, look, it's not terrible. It's going to be cold, and it's Christmas. So, it's kind of hard to complain a little bit about it, but it doesn't last long. That's how the weather is here for Tampa. We don't stay cold for that long, but it is going to get chilly. All right, guys, that's it. I'll get you back to what you were doing. Thanks for watching. I will be off the rest of the week celebrating the holiday, but I will be, of course, here on social media keeping up with you and letting you know what these temperatures